Good morning, everybody. Paul here, coming at you with a crypto coffee update with the fancy webcam. I'm loving this thing. I got all the news, conferences, events, just basically everything you'd want to see to empower yourself for the next 2 days in the crypto space. And of course, I got the coffee. And this time I got my little pirate mug. It's got the pirate flags on there in celebration of the new pirate coin coming out of the Komodo ecosystem. I thought that was very fitting. So join me for a simultaneous sip. Arr. All right, good stuff. I am caffeinated and energized, ready to go. First thing I want to get into, you can see over here, I have Crypto Panic open. Just wanted to share with you guys, in case some of you may have missed it. My favorite news aggregation site has just all kinds of articles. You can vote on the sentiment. They have trending here, recent comments by all the users. So really a democratic way to discern what articles seem the most popular or may even be fake news. I brought this up in particular because they added the hub section over on the right hand side, and I'm going to start posting Cryptide's content to the hub. So keep an eye out for this video. Maybe you found it via the hub. Point of the matter being, I love the site. It's fantastic and just wanted to give them a shout out. Let's go ahead and get into the news. I actually aggregated the majority of the articles that I get for the Crypto Coffee update from Crypto Panic. First one being, the Aussie blockchain startup has a winner. This is hosted by Richard Branson, the billionaire who owns Virgin Galactic, and assumingly some other business entities. And I have highlighted here the big takeaway, in my opinion, which is the mentorship. I'll explain why momentarily. Big winner, Power Ledger. We talked about them in the previous 2 days ago Crypto Coffee update, and I mentioned how they use basically sustainable energy and they tokenize it on their blockchain and allow it to be sold to institutions and other individuals who want to, well, utilize that energy. Great example of a working product and how tokenization is helping to revolutionize industries that are both cleaner, definitely more socially conscious, and helping to compress the cost per unit of energy input, which is the building block for pretty much all human activity. It's good stuff. Suffice to say that Power Ledger won the competition, which started in January 2018, so it took them 10 months to identify a winner. So Richard Branson definitely doing his own research and ensuring that the project that he's rewarding with these accolades is a legitimate project that is deserving of said accolades. And like I said, the mentorship is really one of the big takeaways in my opinion, because it's hard to put a price on that sort of thing. $34 million is $34 million, but social capital, social connections with IBM, Amazon, and other giant tech companies that you can then flex your new technology in front of, that can have some untold benefits further down the line. And you can see Power Ledger already has where is it at? There you go. Some testing that's begun in Bangkok's T77 precinct, so they're definitely within that 16% at least that we mentioned from yesterday's EY report, in which it shows that only 16% have a prototype and an additional 13% have a working product. So that means that only 29% of blockchain projects and ICOs that were launched within the last couple of years, they have anything at all. Power Ledger is definitely within there, so shout out to them. Let's go ahead and move on to the next article. The NYSE's parent company, Bakkt, they're launching their crypto futures platform this year. So we got some official dates for you guys. Told you we'd keep you updated. December 12th, 2018, that's the big date to watch out for. And what makes Bakkt different? Well, they're a bit different than the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME. They launched last December Bitcoin futures, but they're not backed by an actual Bitcoin. They're just backed by US dollars and just legally airtight, assumingly. This kind of amounts to a fractional reserve system in a way, since it's not, again, backed by anything crypto related. It's just related to the crypto price and mostly speculation. Bakkt changes that. Quote from the article you see here, each futures contract calls for delivery of one Bitcoin held in Bakkt digital asset warehouse and will trade in US dollar terms. So this is a way for institutions to get their hands on actual, well, not physical, but digital Bitcoin get their hands on digital Bitcoin that backs the futures contract that they are purchasing using their fiat currency. Yeah, kind of a mouthful, but yeah, hopefully that translates pretty well. You guys can check all of these links below in the description. Like I always say, do your own research. Super important to get started on that and empower yourself with the information. I'm just kind of going through these to help y'all get started to do your own research and share really interesting and relevant information with people who I consider my friends in the crypto space. So let's go ahead and continue our quest of questly quests about this information. Albania, we're sticking with big institutions and big entities, government included. Albania is considering crypto regulations to attract investment. Why? Because in a consistently globalizing environment in which you're seeing national entities and certain regions and geographies lose their virtual monopoly to virtual currencies, they no longer have the efficacy that they previously had through sanctions and central bank not protocol, but central bank authority to dictate what currency is used where, why, and at what rate. So what this means is you're seeing a emergence of regulatory environments that are more favorable to these digital assets, since after all, that's going to increase the physical investment in the real world in that region, and therefore increase the tax base for said region. So Albania is looking to keep pace with its neighbors, essentially. France recently lowered the tax rate from 39% down to as low as 19%, so that's a huge boon for businesses. Why does that matter? Well, let's say things are opaque, right? And next article, this actually translates perfectly. Bitcoin boutique occurred in Russia. Here at the bottom of the article, it actually talks about how it's extremely opaque in neighboring Russia. The regulations are basically not there. They don't operate legally or illegally. They're in a gray area. Now, let's say you invest $4 million into a startup. Everything's going well. Everything's going fine. And all of a sudden, legislation passes that means you fall on the wrong side of operations. You either have to spend this money to become regulatory compliant and just jive with the new regulations, or pack up shop and go somewhere else. Either way, that is a huge drain of resources it's basically detracting from your main stated mission, which is building the product that you claimed and you were going to build and set out to build it. And that's at no fault of your own. That's just the regulatory environment that you're subject to. So that's why we're seeing, in my humble opinion, more of these governmental entities begin to create these attractive areas in which it makes just more sense for cryptocurrency and blockchain projects to incubate their creations. And sweet tax revenue coming out of that. So that's neither here nor there. Actually, I guess it's not here. It's over there. But yeah, suffice to say, good stuff. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. Visa, they're launching their own blockchain-based digital identity system with IBM. So IBM coming up again for the second time in this Crypto Coffee update. Hidden, maybe not so hidden, but maybe subtle, how to phrase this? It subtly suggests that these huge entities are perhaps paying more close attention to the space than was previously assumed, given the fact that they have their hands in a lot of different projects. After all, Richard Branson has connections there. Visa clearly has connections to these tech giants. But suffice to say, Visa B2B Connect is the name of the entity that Visa will be launching to allow individuals to attest their identity to their data and send that data cross-border. This is a huge boon and is perhaps one of the most applicable use cases for blockchain technology. After all, digital ledgers, distributed ledgers, they're a bit slow, they're a bit cumbersome at times, but damn, do they make sure that that data is it's secure. It maintains the integrity of the data, is I think the phrase that's used. But essentially, what this is going to do with the nice integritous data, integritous? I think that's the word. It maintains integrity. B2B Connect's digital identity greatly reduces the opportunity for fraud that might otherwise exist with checks, ACH, and wire transfers today, while also helping companies remain compliant as part of the regulated financial ecosystem. Again, there's that regulatory compliance we mentioned. That's a huge thing that institutional entities, they have more flexibility with. They're able to use their big coffers and their familiarity with the existing regulatory framework to not only build entities that what's the word I'm looking for? They jive well with that framework, but they can also help to augment that framework through things like lobbyists and other social capital connections that they have, right? So, with that said, I think that's about everything that's interesting out of this article. Really didn't see anything too relevant that I wanted to draw out of that and bring to y'all's attention, other than the fact that this could be a competitor to Ripple. It's a existent entity that already has huge ties in the space and beyond. So something to keep an eye on, and we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward and keep you informed about any relevant things that come out of that. Humorous article that really struck me, goes to show kind of what we talked about with that EY report, right? And why doing your own research is so important. Giant HTC announces pre-sale of its blockchain smartphone. The blockchain smartphone, it just, to me, kind of rang of that 2017 hype cycle thing. Do you really need a blockchain smartphone? I mean, you ever get pushed in a pool and accidentally lose all of your financial sovereignty because your phone got fried? It's interesting, but yeah, I don't know much about it. Not going to sit here and say it's a completely useless thing or it's not going to be the next big thing. It just goes to show that there's a lot of applicability for this technology, and again, use cases are being explored everywhere to see where this technology fits in with human society. Interestingly enough, it's going to have a kind of high price tag, about $960 if you want this new HTC Blockchain Phone, but they're working together with the community trying to build in some security to this thing. What really stuck out to me is However, current Exodus 1 is not exactly what HTC promised. I think we've heard that a lot with various projects in the space. They've augmented their use case a little bit as new information has come to light. Again, something that we've seen other projects do. But if anybody's really more intimately familiar with this phone and what exactly it's going to do from a technical perspective, I haven't jumped into it just simply because, again, I found it kind of humorous, found it kind of interesting, and just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention and let me know what you think of it below in the comments. For now, that is all we have for the news. Let's go ahead and get into the happenings. The happenings. I want to say exchanges, conferences, events, that sort of thing. I don't know why I said exchanges. There's no listings on exchanges. Seems to be a kind of quiet time in which projects are incubating new ideas and new listings perhaps. But suffice to say, let's get into it. For October 24th, Wednesday, we have the Blockchain for Sustainable Development Conference in Geneva, Switzerland. The Gibraltar London International Fintech Forum 2018 in London, not in Gibraltar. We also have the NYC ArtTech plus Blockchain Connect 2018 in New York City. Not a lot of these roll off the tongue. World Blockchain Summits happening in Dubai, and that is it for October 24th, Wednesday. For October 25th, Thursday, we have a lot of stuff going on. We have the Deep Learning Summit in Toronto, the AI for Government Summit in Toronto as well, the East Coast Family Office and High Net Worth Annual Conference in New York City, FinExt Conference in Las Vegas, CEE Block happening in Bulgaria, Stocktoberfest West in California, Blockchain World Forum in Beijing, and the 12th International Conference on Provable Security happening in Korea. That's it for October 25th, and for this Crypto Coffee update. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Links below in the description. Let me know what you think of this kind of content in the comments. Much love, but for now, my name is Paul, signing off. We are Cryptide, and remember, the tide is rising, as well as the video count. All the videos.